I'm going to show you how to make an AutoClicker with Python in 5 minutes or less. First thing, I'm using VS Code. You can use any editor you want. We're going to need to install a package here. So we're going to pip install pynput. With that installed, we have everything we need. I'm going to set the language here to Python. And we're ready to go. We're going to start with a variable called delay. I'm going to set that equal to 1/10 of a second. That'll give us 10 clicks per second. Next, we need to set up a variable to hold the mouse controller. We need to import that from pynput.mouse. Import the controller. Okay, next thing we need to do is create a class for our AutoClicker. That's going to extend thread. Let's get that imported as well. From threading, import thread. The only variable this class is going to have is a class variable called clicking. It's going to be a Boolean. We'll default it to false, and that's going to control whether the AutoClicker should be clicking or not. Then it's going to have one method. It's going to be the run method. This is the code that's going to execute when the thread is running. All it's going to do is hold an infinite loop that's going to check if our AutoClicker clicking variable is true. Then we will tell our mouse controller to click. We need to tell it what button to click, so we're going to say Button.left. That needs to also be imported from pynput.mouse. The last thing we're going to do here is sleep for our delay. And we could leave it at that. Once we import from time, import sleep. We could leave it at that, but we could make this a lot better with just a little more code. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. We'll add some randomness, and we'll clamp it around our original value by simply doing this. So times it by the random value, times our delay by the random value, add half of the delay back to it. So we need to import from random, import random. That will take care of our class. Next thing we need to do is set up a handler for our keyboard to turn the script on and off. So we're going to call that keypress, and that will take an argument of whatever key was pressed. It's going to be very straightforward. We're just going to say if the key equals KeyCode, and the character we want to get the key code for is the left square bracket. So we need to import that guy from pynput.keyboard. Import key code. All right. Now all we need to do is say AutoClicker.clicking equals not AutoClicker.clicking. That will just toggle it on and off. If it is false, it will be set to true. If it is true, it will be set to false. That's all that our keyboard listener needs to do. So now we have everything available. We just need to set it up. Let's create an instance of our AutoClicker. Start the thread, and then set up our keyboard listener. We're going to bind to the onPress event, and we'll bind that to our keypress function we just defined. Let's call that listener, the lowercase l. Before we forget, let's import that from pynput.keyboard. Now all we have to do is say listener.join, and we are done. Now let's show you how to use it. So on my desktop, I have that AutoClicker.py file, and I can just open that by double-clicking. The program's running here, and if I push the left square bracket, it's clicking around. And now it's getting out of control, so I'm going to turn it off. Okay, so let's test that a little more visually. If we go to this website here, this is just cps-check.com. I'm doing the 5-second test. I'm going to do it manually here first. Click as fast as I can for 5 seconds. So I get 8.4 clicks per second. And here's a graph showing kind of what that looks like over time. Now let's see what our AutoClicker does. The goal with our AutoClicker is to kind of look like a human, to not get caught by any autoban software, hopefully. So the range I picked is within human tolerances, and it should give some difficulty in detection at least. There we go. That's what it looks like. To close it, just push the X.